The word came out, as you know from watching local TV down there, that Kareem Hunt will not face charges for marijuana possession in that traffic stop that took place in January. I don't think was anybody really concerned that that might happen?
No, I don't think after the initial stories were done with the Rocky River Police Chief in explaining why the stop ended the way it did with them sending Hunt on his way. I think from what I've read and seen since then, I think it's a credible case that they try to handle more of these stops this way unless they see visual impairment, and they didn't in his case. So I'm not surprised that it ended this way, and he hopefully considers it himself very lucky that it did.
And he did admit, or he thought, that he wouldn't have been able to pass the NFL drug test if or driving while intoxicated, or whatever they were wording it. That wouldn't have helped his cause, but as it turns out, they weren't going to press on.
Yeah, and one of the only kind of disturbing thing is that his answer to that question about whether he would have passed the test is, well, sorry, it's the off season, I was having fun. Listen, you're still behind the wheel of a car. There's still open container in your car. Like that goes beyond the definition of having fun. I mean, you can have fun at Cedar Point.
Well, yeah, I mean, there were a whole bunch of things that could have happened here, but the policeman happened to be a Browns fan. Some people complained about that, but I think we would all like to be treated that way if that happened to us, I guess.
Yeah, and I think he was admitting the part about being a Browns fan. I think he was basically using that as a way to talk to Hunt about, him not making this mistake again. I know some people saw it as, especially from out of town, I know a couple people who called me and said, boy, it'd be great to be a Browns player in that town. They don't, you can walk back to a police car, not tell the whole truth about what's in your car, find an open container and still, get off. But I think the police acquitted themselves okay in this.
Okay, so you've got Hunt, you've got Nick Chubb as the running tandem, you got a new offense, a new head coach, you've got receivers that have some question marks behind their name. What do you do? Is Kareem Hunt worth the trouble of keeping him around and fearing that something's going to happen to make the NFL upset with some of his actions? What do you do if you're the Browns as far as Hunt is concerned?
Well, I think it's important to differentiate between him and, say, a guy like Manziel, who had problems coming into this city and continued to have problems and wasn't working hard at what he was doing. Kareem Hunt gets the nod from people for being a really hard worker, a good teammate. I thought he played really well when he got here last year under the circumstances. He wasn't the bell cow running back. And right now, if they tender him, I dare somebody to spend a second or third round draft pick on a guy that they don't know even half as well as the Browns do. So I could see the Browns where it would make sense for them to keep him on and hope that he keeps himself clean as he did during last season. Had there been problems during last season, I think they would have said, do we really need this trouble?
Would you take a third round pick for him?
Well, I guess, right?
No, I want him on the team.
I would rather have him than a third round pick.
Right. Second rounds might be a different story.
We always look at this as like it's this great position of strength, but we know what kind of attrition happens at that position in the NFL. And if Nick Chubb would get hurt 4 games into the season and they didn't have Kareem Hunt, then suddenly I think they're really an offense that's been compromised.